Good morning and welcome to another episode of Fly to Freedom. Today I want to talk about one of my favourite subjects, which is self-love. And when I first learned about self-love, I literally didn't think it was something that I could ever consider doing myself. I actually thought that self-love meant arrogance and that it was just people who were like up themselves and really not something I could attain to at all. But the more I learned about it, the more I learned that self love isn't about being perfect or striving for perfection. And it's not about having an inflated ego or thinking that you're better than other people. It's not actually about ignoring your flaws and shortcomings. It actually involves acknowledging them and working towards self improvement. It's not about comparing yourself to other people or trying to meet society's unrealistic standards of beauty, success, or happiness. It's also not a one time achievement, it's actually something that requires patience and understanding and forgiveness. And it's an ongoing practice every day. And it's not about avoiding challenges or not making mistakes, but actually about seeing them as opportunities for growing and learning. And self love isn't about isolating yourself or pushing other people away. It's about creating healthy connections with other people and asking for support when you need it and surrounding yourself with positive influences. Ultimately, although I thought self love was a very, very selfish thing, it's not. It's not a selfish act at all, but actually a foundation for living a fulfilling and balanced life. So that's what self love isn't. But what actually is it? It makes a world of difference, particularly in recovery, because not everybody, but the majority of people that live in an eating disorder are living with a very, very harsh inner critic that constantly puts them down and makes them feel absolutely rubbish, like really shitty all the time. And when you bring self love into your recovery, starting with self compassion, but bringing self love in, and self love is the act of accepting and nurturing yourself unconditionally, treating yourself with kindness, respect, and compassion as you would treat somebody that you love, a child, a pet, a best friend, a parent. You wouldn't treat them or talk to them the way you talk to yourself. And self love is about recognizing your worth and valuing yourself as a unique and deserving individual. And I know that a lot of people don't believe they have any worth or value, but all you have to do to have worth is to simply be a human being. That's it. You were born fully worthy. You were born with value. You don't have to do anything to achieve it. It's naturally there. It's your natural state. And talking about natural states, you were actually born fully loving yourself, completely and utterly. You were born knowing your needs and communicating those needs to other people. All babies are born like this and they cry when they need something. And that's how we're supposed to be. And if you imagine a baby when they start to become aware of their hands and their feet and their little bodies, they're in awe of them. They love them. They're completely and utterly in love with themselves and their bodies. And that's our natural state. And that's what we need to get back to. Self love is also about setting healthy boundaries and prioritizing your own needs and well being. It means making self care the top of your list and taking care of your physical, emotional, and mental health. It involves listening to your inner voice this as the inner voice with compassion, not the inner critic or the eating disorder voice, but honoring your own desires, dreams, and goals. And I say listening to your own inner voice, if you are asked by somebody to help them and you want to help them because you think you should help them, but actually you're really tired and you want to sit down and you've had a really busy day, and you say yes to helping them because you think it's what you should do to make them happy, but when in actual fact it's not meeting any of your own needs and what you need is a rest and a sit down, that is not listening to your inner voice. Your inner voice tells you you want to rest and sit down, and that's the one you should be listening to. And I'm not saying don't help other people, of course I'm not. We all like to help people. But we also have to put our own needs first. Because when our own needs are fulfilled, we have so much more to give to other people. So self-love is about embracing your strengths and your flaws. It means recognizing that nobody is perfect, literally nobody. And making mistakes is just part of being human. It's part of the human experience. So forgive yourself for past mistakes and learn from them rather than going over and over them in your head and thinking, oh, I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have done that. Just accept that it happened and move on. So self-love is also about creating a positive and empowering mindset, challenging that negative self-talk and replacing it with self-affirming thoughts and beliefs. Being grateful for all the things that you have and the experiences you have, and looking at the things that you do well and your accomplishments, your strengths. Because when we focus on the negative and I can't do that, I can't do that, that's the reality we're creating for ourselves. But if you focus on the things that you're good at and celebrate yourself for that, then they get better and you get better and you get happier. So celebrate your uniqueness and embrace your individuality. Being authentic and true to yourself will make you feel so much happier than trying to fit into societal expectations and seeking validation from others. When you can validate yourself, you are so much more peaceful and able to do and focus on so much more, because you're not constantly on that search for validation from an external source. Embrace your passions, interests, and values, and do things that bring you joy and fulfillment. Like go for a massage, get your nails done, go to the cinema, go for a nice walk in the countryside, spend half an hour sitting on the beach with a book. Do things that make you feel good, because the better you feel, the more high vibe you are and the better you make other people around you feel. And that goes both ways, because when you surround yourself with positive and supportive people who uplift you and inspire you, that also makes you feel good. And let go of toxic relationships that make you feel less than and bring you down, because ultimately you want to create a nurturing and loving environment for yourself. So, overall, self love is a lifelong journey of self discovery, self acceptance, and self care. And it really, really is the foundation for a healthy and fulfilling life where you can truly thrive and become the best version of yourself. Putting self love into practice involves actively incorporating self care, self compassion, and self acceptance into your daily life. So let's look at some ways you can do this. You can start by prioritizing self care and make a really conscious effort to do things that nourish your mind, body, and soul. This could include things like taking regular breaks, practicing mindfulness or meditation, indulging in crafts or hobbies or activities that you enjoy, or pampering yourself with a wonderful spa day, or just a relaxing bath, or sitting down reading a book. Practice self-compassion. So when the inner bitch is giving you hell, stop, say no, and then treat yourself with kindness, understanding, and patience. When you make a mistake or face a setback, instead of having a go at yourself, offer yourself the same compassion and encouragement you would give to somebody you love. And challenge that negative self talk and replace it with positive and uplifting statements. Set boundaries. Learn to say no to things that don't align with your values or drain your energy. When you establish healthy boundaries, you protect your emotional well-being and you're prioritizing your own needs. Celebrate your accomplishments. Notice and celebrate all your achievements, no matter how big or how small. It doesn't matter if it's even just really tiny. But celebrate. Take some time every day to reflect on your progress and give yourself credit for your efforts and your growth. Practice gratitude. Create a daily gratitude practice by focusing on the positive aspects of your life. You can do this by journaling or simply just taking a few moments every day to think about the things that you appreciate. Like this morning, I appreciated being woken up by my little dog, who actually licked my eyelids to wake me up, which was kind of weird, but it's lovely having her there and knowing that she loves me, going on a beautiful morning walk. And there's so many things to be grateful for. I am so grateful that I get to do this podcast and I get to speak to you guys. Surround yourself with positivity. Try and find people who uplift you and support you and have relationships that are healthy and positive and nurturing, rather than having contact with people who bring negativity, drain your energy, and generally just bring you down. Who we surround ourselves with is so important. And they do say you're the sum of the 5 people you spend most of your time with. And if those people are negative and moaning, that's who you're going to become, or it's going to keep you stuck in that place. Start talking to yourself in a really positive way. Look at how you talk to yourself and be aware, and then consciously replace the self-criticism with self-affirmation. Challenge your negative thoughts and remind yourself that you are worthy simply because you're human. Remind yourself of your strengths and your capabilities. Ask for help, seek support, reach out to somebody, a therapist, a counsellor, a recovery coach like me, if you need guidance or assistance in your journey towards self-love. Other people can provide valuable insights, tools, and support to help you navigate the challenges you may encounter, and also just to help you gain a better awareness. And most of all, remember that self-love is not a one-time action. You can't just say, okay, I'm going to be loving to myself now, and then expect that to happen forever. Be patient. It takes work daily. So be gentle with yourself and forgive yourself if you don't get it right every time, because you're just learning and growing. And quite honestly, self-love literally has changed my life. I have gone from hating every aspect of myself, thinking that nobody could possibly even want to spend time with me or value anything I have to say because I thought I had no worth, to loving the person I am and feeling much, much more confident. I mean, I'm doing a podcast, for goodness sake. That's something I would never have considered doing. So if you want support on this or any part of recovery, do contact me, send me an email, get hold of me in the Instagram DMs, go onto my website. I'm here for you and I'm ready to support you. I believe in you and you can do this. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode, and I'll see you next week.